Yeah, fantastic. This is my newest dinghy. It's a water tender 9.4 and has a rigid plastic hull. My old dinghy, which I still have stowed in the aft dinghy locker, was a rigid hull inflatable, but the hull became separated from the inflatable portion and dropped out. This made it unusable. I used that dinghy extensively to get back and forth between the marina and mooring ball when I had Moxie in Sarasota. I transported all my gear back and forth as well as tools and materials for projects on the boat. I made dozens and dozens of trips over several months. It was a good dinghy, but it was just old and in need of major repair. So I bought this other used dinghy with a rigid hull for the last few months I was at that marina. By the way, this is when I was moving my boat up to Tampa Bay, but my engine crapped out on me, so I was being towed. More about that in a future episode. I've had the dinghy out of the water for about 2 weeks now to let the bottom dry out, so I think I'm going to scrape the bottom now. Alright, bottom scraped down. I'll end up sanding it and I want to repaint it. Made a little bit of a mess here on the deck. That's alright. The wind will help me. Just make sure not to set your beer downwind. Cleaned everything up. That was a messy but otherwise easy project. I'll sand and paint the bottom down the road. I'm up in the V-berth of the boat, and as I'm doing in other areas, I'm replacing the flooring in the entire boat. So what I'm going to do today is rip out this front floorboard here. It should be pretty simple, and once I get that ripped out, again, as I'm doing in other places, clean out the bilge and recoat the bilge area with bilge paint. And then I'll be replacing the flooring throughout the boat. In addition to replacing the flooring up here, what I want to do is replace these boards on both the port and starboard sides. The boat had taken on some water inside the cabin and these boards became delaminated. You can see the paint and that top layer peeling off there. And as I move to the inside of this compartment, you can see how the marine grade plywood down at the bottom there is coming apart. So I've got a friend on board helping me rip this floorboard out, and yeah, looks like it'll all, oh wow, it'll come out in one sheet and just fall apart for me here. So this is marine grade plywood, but as I mentioned before, the boat had taken on some water and sat, so it's just falling apart here. The dust and mold was so bad from pulling these boards out, I had to use a respirator. Glad to get this stuff off the boat. Turns out there was a solid 3/4 inch board under the flooring here, and it was pinned down by those vertical boards on the port and starboard sides. This project is to be continued. At this point, I've just got a lot of old nasty wood and flooring that I need to get off the boat and just get rid of. Same thing up here in the V-berth. Things are a bit cleaner now that I've wiped everything down. I'm in the galley area, and just after the galley is the chart table. And in the long run, I'm going to end up ripping the chart table out as well and convert this to a seating area. But for now, what I'm trying to do is remove as many large objects from the boat as I can that I'm not going to be using. So one of those items here is this Kimball Stove. It probably works just fine, but currently it's not hooked up to propane. And as you can see on the right side there, it's come off of one of its gimbals. So I'm going to be taking that out of the boat for now. So I've pulled out the stove here, and you can see where the gimbal's attached here to those braces. That allows the stove to swing when the boat's rocking. And behind where the stove was, you can see the compressor for the refrigeration unit. And a lot of wiring down below there. So I've got this area clear now. Like I said, I'll just take the stove off, decide what I'm going to do with it, but at least it's off the boat and I've got this area free now. In the long term, I'm going to end up redoing the entire counter area for the galley. Mike and I were able to pull lots of big items off the boat. There was the Kimball Stove, a portable air conditioner, my Predator inverter generator, a portable AC and DC refrigerator, and several large stainless steel frames for the bimini top. This made lots of extra room on the boat for making progress on my interior work. There are a lot of extra fittings on the boat. This one was for the bimini top, which I took off the boat the other day, and I'm just going to remove this here. Now I can just bend this back into shape if I want to use it again. A few months ago, I did a major, messy project on the anchor locker and anchor chain. But I'll leave that for a future episode. It's not all work on Moxie. I do a little fishing. I get a few visitors here and there. And I get to see a bit of wildlife. Thanks for watching Sailing Moxie. Lots more videos to come.